his mouth and give our hood a bad name. Why he couldn't keep it silent and take his case like a man. Why everybody hate my hood.
About My Money TV, it's your boy King Kaos. We back in the building with Barz2Brickz. Man, Barz2Brickz, y'all know usually I'm here with my regular co-host, Mikey Swisher, my guy. But today, I've been telling y'all, Earl was going to be an intro part of this in season 1. We got Earl back in doing doing the hosting thing today. So what's up with you, Nasty? How you doing? What's going on?
Man, blessed by the best. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I always try to see how, my brother's doing before we get this started. Mental health check, man. You good? Everything good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Life treating you good?
Yeah, man. I'm alive, so I can start from there.
Free and alive, we can always make something happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got a special guest in the building. Y'all know how we do. Barz2Brickz, same format, man. We got Symone. She's actually part of the Validus Movement. If y'all know anything, y'all seen Josh on here. If y'all haven't, it's probably gonna be in the corner of one of these at the end.
Mm-hmm.
All her information and information to their website will be in the description. And if I'm doing my job, it'll be right up under her right now. How you doing, Symone?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Same thing. How are you? How's life been treating you? We got to check on each other nowadays.
For sure. I'm good. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be talking to y'all.
You one of the first women on the show.
I know.
Yeah.
We talked about that when we were planning this, that I was going to be the first woman on here. So
We opening season 2, right? I told y'all we was
Okay.
gonna be bringing you a diverse group, people who been justice impacted and people who haven't been justice impacted. But the thing is, 99.9% of our community has been justice impacted in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
And that's what Barz2Brickz is really about. You may not have actually been behind them bars, but or you have someone in your family who has been there, and it's really about talking about that experience. So a little bit background about you, where you grew up at, where you from, all that good stuff.
Yes, so I'm born and raised in Indianapolis. I grew up on 40th and Boulevard.
Naptown, Napa.
Yes.
Napa,
Okay,
Napa.
not for nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, grew up on 40th and Boulevard. Over there, I went
Okay.
to school 43. Like, that was where between 30th Street and
40.
40th.
Yeah.
Cross
By
town.
Crown
All
Hill.
of my
Cross town, you know what I mean?
Crown Hill.
40. If I know a little, I used to live on Pride. I went to Manual for a little while.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm worldwide.
Yeah.
My daughter going to 43 right now.
Yeah, I went all the way through until like 5th grade, and then they started doing like 8th grade after I left. But that's where I went, my sister, cousins, big brother, everybody, and then you either went to Shortridge or one of the other little boundary schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
That's dope. Me and Mike actually went through all through Warren Central together, grade school, junior high, high school, all that. So that's kind of a beautiful thing when you can go through a school like that. A lot of people don't have that experience, man. Where a lot of people move around, a lot of stuff like that. You got to think about it, man. So that's dope. That's kind of dope. I'm gonna let Earl ask some questions, man. What you think, Earl? We start out about how she got into Validus, or what would you like to speak about today?
Yeah. That would be my question to get it started. I was like, what led you there, and then kind of how it all started for you.
Yeah, for sure. So my story of like getting involved with Validus is like, it's really interesting because like a lot of us, like when I started like doing any type of like organizing or just like caring about things that are going on in the world, I was involved heavily in like reproductive justice stuff. So like abortion rights, like being able to access birth control, things like that, like things involving like reproductive justice. Like that's what I had been doing for the last couple of years. And growing up, like in the household that I grew up in, like there was a lot of domestic violence that was experienced. My father was absent, things like that. Early on in like my girlhood, going into womanhood, like I had gotten involved with some knuckleheads and things like that.
Yeah.
But, I had the experiences of, terminating pregnancy at a young age. I was a freshman in college, and that kind of turned my life around in a way. And it also awakened me to so many of our experiences are political, and they can't be extracted from our everyday life. So, like, I started going to the State House and, like, organizing with, bigger names and stuff like Planned Parenthood. I don't know if I can name drop in here.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
It's
but-
your story. It's your story. It's your story.
yeah, so I
yeah,
started,
yeah.
I did a little lobbying and things like that. I got back involved with my dad and tried to rekindle that relationship after he moved back here from St. Louis. He had bought a baby with him. So I had another little brother. I got like 8 or 9 siblings now.
Sorry to interrupt real
Yeah.
quick, but how old was you around that time?
Around the time where we rekindled our relationship, I was probably, it was in like 2020. So I was probably like 22 around this
So
time. I'm
relatively
27
still
now.
young. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Okay.
So he came back in my life with a little baby, and me and my sister being like his adult kids now that still live here, we took him in, took both of them in, and tried to rebuild on a very shaky foundation. But you learn sometimes your parents, you gotta raise them. Sometimes he had some growing up
or
to
y'all,
do.
or y'all grow up together.
Yeah,
that's not
for
a
sure.
different experience for black men.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing is, with my father, right? When I had my child, I kind of had to go back into myself and realize that our parents are just human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And forgiving them, it's not really about forgiving them. It's about realizing that they're not who we put them on the pedestal to be sometime, and that's hard to understand. And to think back when you were going through what you were going, you was young. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you would have had that child at that time, and what that would have been like, and what raising that child would have been like, and then the experience. And when I thought about it in that way, it made me reach out to my father and do that same kind of healing. I want to backtrack a little bit because you ran over it so quick.
Yeah.
You want to, with reproductive rights and having to go through that yourself. I want to talk about the mental health part of that. Did you seek mental health? Did you do something to help you through that process?
Yeah, I think for the first probably year, and I'll be like very candid with this, like it was a hard decision for me, as it is for a lot of people, but a lot of the emotions that I felt, they came from the stigma of like feeling, othered, and like nobody has gone through this, and so like probably like 2 years afterwards, like I had been getting like I call him he was my baby daddy. I didn't go through with the pregnancy, but yeah, the donor. Yeah.
Of course.
he harassed me. Him and his like girlfriend that he had been cheating on me with. Wow. They harassed me. Like it sent me into like a crazy spiral. So like when I talk about that story, a lot of the mental struggle was not
trauma.
Necessarily around the procedure, but it was around like the situation surrounding it.
Yeah.
And so like I did, like for the first time in my life, I started therapy back in 2017. So I had my procedure in 2016. Started therapy in like 2017, like the end. And my sister made me go. Like it wasn't like a decision and that I made on my own, but it was like I needed somebody to be like, hey.
How has that helped since?
For sure, I've been in therapy since then. I tell everybody, we have our coping mechanisms outside of professional help, but like it is so important.
Yeah,
it's so
it's
important.
a stigma in our community, and the only reason why I bring it up, one of the last people we had on here was actually a health professional. Check that out, Brown Band-Aids. Y'all can check that out this last season. But I actually lost a son to gun violence, and that was the first time. I'm 48 years old. I'm not afraid to say it, but all the traumas and stuff that I had been through in my life, we don't identify them as traumas.
Yep.
It's just our
normal.
experience.
We look at them as normal,
Right,
being there,
right.
which is not.
When it's not,
Yeah.
and then to lose a child really put me in a place I had never. Man, I done lost friends. Like since I was 15, I've been losing people. But when I seen my own child in a casket, it was a different experience for me. So it really made me. And just to be candid, you're not the only one that's been through there. I had women that had abortions that I didn't, want them to have, and all kinds of stuff. So don't feel alone in that. But just that that going to therapy and something, I just wanted to ask you that because I want to make that more acceptable. I want people to talk about that more and share that experience because I had to go through that. And if I had not spoken to somebody about some of my feelings during that time, bro, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd be doing this right now today.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, this was in 2020. It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's stuck in the house. My son gets killed. I'm like, it ain't even, you can't go out and do what you regular would have did to cope.
Right.
So I had to find some other way to deal with it. So that I commend you for sharing that story. So when you got into that and that spurred you to get into getting that relationship back with your father and all that, so that put you in a place where you wanted to change how the system goes about things, or how did that, you know?
Yeah, like with my dad, like I did try to rekindle the relationship and things like that. But my main focus was on the well-being of like the kid that was here now, like my little brother.
Right.
And so like I kind of saw some of the patterns that like I had experienced as a child, like history repeating itself and things like that. And like it came to a point where you know, I can only do so much. And you know, I'm a justice impacted person myself, so I'll just say out loud, like I went to jail behind my little brother, and it was due to some friction that me and my dad had, and he didn't agree with me trying to hold him accountable for things. His mother was in the picture, like it was a big thing, and like I can speak about it because the case closed, but just to not wanting to put family things out there, but there was a lot of ways that I saw another kid, in my family, like falling through the cracks and like being involved with very traumatic experiences that he should have been seeking mental, help for that child,
Right.
for my little brother, like, and it just wasn't happening. So yeah, like I said, being very candid, I caught a felony behind my little brother, trying to get him into a better situation, and it was really frustrating because, like, I saw kind of a pattern of, like, my dad evading accountability on a lot of things. And this one time I wanted the system to, like, work the way it's supposed to with, like, DCS and things like that. And I had been let down so many times that I took matters into my own hands. And so that, for me, opened up my eyes to how people say the system's broken. It's not. It's made to work the way that it is. It's made to keep people suffering. It's made to keep children in situations that are gonna turn them into, the
Commodity,
not the thing.
commodity
The
for
prison,
the
the
system.
school to prison pipeline.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? There, my little brother, he got into a fight at school, and he was boasting to me about fighting the cops at school because he beat up this kid. And he was like, I was kicking and screaming, I was biting at them. And he said this to me with such pride. And that, I couldn't stand for that. You know what I mean? It was just in the fact that there was nowhere for me to go to get support that was really going to move him out of that situation. And so I did. I tried to reunite with him with his mom, and my dad called the cops on me. And they hit me with a felony.
Man, they gave me chills that you seen something going on that you didn't want to see the cycle repeat on, that you went as far as doing what you I know people be like, man, you tripping. I still commend you for trying to take on that responsibility, man. A lot of people would have just sit back and watched it happen. I see it all the time, man. Like, it's crazy. So just doing that, man, and sharing that with us, man, I really appreciate that. I know that's not an easy thing to share. Yeah. So you do that. You go through that experience, and then your mind is now, I have to start working behind the scenes to change the system. How did you go about that?
Man, it first started when I had a job before I went to jail. I got out, and I now had a felony. Still had the job, got laid off 3 months later. And so here I was with a felony for the first time ever. Like I had housing and stuff like that, but like I had a private landlord, thankfully at the time.
So you speaking on once you got out? Is this,
that's how I got into this.
Okay,
yeah.
so if you don't mind, can we backtrack just a
Yeah.
little bit? During I wanted to talk about your incarceration just for a brief moment. During your incarceration, like what were some of the programs, if there were any, that they offered in there up until your release? And do you remember if you had release classes?
Any reentry assist?
No, and so that's interesting. So
Because that's really what we talk about.
Yeah. So I was only in there for 3 days.
Okay.
The things I still saw so many gaps
Right.
in just like in the holding and like receiving people. I take mental health medications when I go in, or when I just take them, right?
Right.
I get in there, I get processed in with like the nurse and stuff like that, and like I asked, I was like, I take meds every day. Like, am I gonna? She was like, oh, when they whatever, we have it in the system. Like, what do you take? Got that information. That was the and when I was in there for 2 days or whatever, and I asked like, every day, like the next morning, I was like, I went up for the med cart thingy, and when they do like the med pass and stuff, and I was like, oh hey, like I'm new, like I just got here. I have meds that I take. Like, are they there?
Right.
Like, so like. They were like, when did you get here? And I was like, this is my like first morning here. Like I got here last night. I got processed in. And they were like, no. And so like the next day that I went up there and I was like, hey, I'm new. Hi. They said that it'll take a minute for, stuff to get processed in. I went up again to try and get my meds, and they were like, it was like a joke. They laughed when I was like, are they there yet? Yeah. And they're like, how long have you been here? I was like, this is my second morning. And they're like, no. And I'm like, if somebody takes it's, I think mental health medications are important, but if somebody takes something like a blood pressure medication and they're getting they're just in holding or whatever, or they just got processed in,
no access to
how
medication.
what is that?
People take medicines for like transplants. Just imagine someone, a transplant victim, like people get stuff to keep you from withdrawing quicker than you get medical medicine.
I saw that. I saw a lot of that, and like they deserve those meds, but I also deserve my stabilizing medications that I have.
Absolutely.
And like,
so did you ever get your meds the time you was there?
Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Hell no, I didn't get my.
So at this point, they probably already looked at you, seen how long you was gonna be in there, and they just really pretty much disregarded those medications. You know
Right?
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
she ain't
part
even
of
near
it.
her,
Yeah.
You know what
We're
I'm
not
saying?
even worried. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said, she's seen loopholes and certain instances on how they conduct things in there. So, yeah, man.
That's a short amount of time, and you people don't even think. A lot of people who haven't been there, I hear people say a lot of stuff about, oh, they doing this, they gonna get this. Even when we spoke about like the new bill, like putting the homeless in jail, saying if you homeless, you can go to jail. Like, bro, do you know what that does to people? Like psychologically, just being in that place, man. No matter how long of a time it is, people devalue that. You know what I mean?
When they start talking about locking up homeless, though, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. That's another topic in itself. But back to you kind of seeing them going the same routes, and because it's true, and what you say, like like I've suffered some trauma as far as in parenting, right? Where I can kind of see it when I talk to my kids or whatever, right? You know what I mean? You kind of have, it's like you think back to the way you was raised, and some of that trauma, you got to watch it, because some of it will reflect onto your kids when you're raising them. So you got to watch them in that aspect. But once you seen that, you know what I mean, that you say you were saying that kind of got you to going as far as wanting to change in the kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. And before we move on, I just, because, you know, the question about like things that I saw while I was in there. And I was, like, again, I was only in there for 3 days.
Oh, that's cool.
But I like to tell this story about like a young woman I encountered while I was in the holding cell, because it initially was another thing that had radicalized me around like changing things like for folks who were incarcerated. There was a 19-year-old woman that was in there, teen. I don't want to say woman. She's a teenager. She's 19. She was pregnant. She was also unhoused. She was homeless. And she was probably, I'm a certified doula, twice certified, right? I do birth and postpartum. She was 9 months pregnant. She was ready to pop. Like, she was ready to have that baby. They put us in this holding cell for lunch to eat. And we're sitting there with the most questionable sandwich I've ever seen in my whole life. And then,
you got that bag lunch.
And
you got that green bologna.
Yeah.
And then
we know what it is.
Terrible. That's the most terrible food.
She's sitting like in the corner, and she's
cookies.
just like, she's just very uncomfortable. Like she's like twitching in her seat and stuff like that. And then she starts like groaning and holding her stomach, and I'm like, "You okay, babes? Like, are you having pain? Like everybody, she's going into labor." And when I tell you, it took 30 minutes for even one guard. We were banging on the door. They're like doing the kicks. They're like, "Hey, like this pregnant girl is in here and she's in pain. I feel her stomach. It's rock hard. Like she's going into labor." The warden, the CO, whatever, she comes in and she's like, "Are you in labor?" Like just so like annoyed.
You bothering me.
Yeah.
Like
and
it's more work I gotta do.
Yes. Yeah. And they finally came and like took her out. And like that's when I talk about like, you know, my incarceration story or like being in jail and stuff like that. Like I went through a lot of things, but I am a naturally altruistic person. So that pissed me off more than anything. Right. I'm like, what is that? Yeah. What is this medication thing? Like, and this is just in the jail, you know. When we talk about getting into the prisons and things like that.
Imagine.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you hear a lot of stories about inmates dying.
Yes.
Or that been dead in cells for quite some time.
Yeah, because you take it out for my day. I'm doing the count.
Yep.
Bro in here dying, bro. Your count shouldn't matter as much.
That unfortunately that happens a lot. Where even in instances where you got people that don't do violent crimes, right? They just end up in prison or whatever for whatever reason, and you know they got a short sentence, but they end up dying in prison. You know what I mean? Because it's inadequate. It's a lot of officers that's inadequate for them positions, right? And you know they go into it as really a job. You know what I mean? And lockdowns in prison is the best for them because they ain't really got to do a lot of work, with the exception of they'll let some kitchen workers out to go get the food and bring the food to the inmates. You know what I'm saying? But they not working, so they don't care. But it's just unfortunate that a lot of institutions, or like you say, they design that way, right? In today's society, but and experiencing that, was there anything else that you kind of because prison, depending on where your mentality is, if you spend your day in prison as opposed to somebody's 10 years can be the same as they 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you look at it, just being away, because it's degrading. You know, they strip you of everything. You know what I mean? And it's intended for them to do that. So out of that, what did that? Was there a motivation in that as well as seeing your siblings and whatnot go through what they was going through?
Yeah, me and my sister, we actually got arrested together. So it was hard to see, like, they separated us, like, upon entry. Like, we could not talk to each other because we were, like, co-defendants. And they're like, as soon as we get in there, she got arrested first. They picked me up after they picked her. And I got in there afterwards, and, like, she was already getting, like, her, like, fingerprints and stuff like that. And, like, they looked at our names, and they're, like, very similar. And And they're like, are y'all related? And we were like, yeah. And they were like, then there was just this whole chatter about like trying to figure out why we were in there and like blah, blah, blah. And like my sister was like bawling, crying. And so the corrections officer, like whoever, the woman that was in charge, she was just like, oh, they can't be with each other and da da da. And so immediately they were like, don't look at each other, don't talk to each other, don't fart in the same direction as the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because it'll do something to like when we go before the judge and stuff. And so like that was really hard to like my sister was breaking down, like crying, and she's like, I kind of had to like puff up my chest and like show. I had to show her, and like I was like, we was in there, and I was kind of trying to give her like relax, like calm down. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you come in here, you don't show weakness.
Man, you
like,
don't want to.
You don't want to show weakness. They kind of see that we have this dynamic. They're splitting us up. You know what I'm saying? People that are in here going in here with us, they already see that we sisters. You know what I'm saying? So like that was really tough. And then like knowing on the outside that there was probably some narrative being spun about like me to my little brother.
Right.
And like I haven't spoken to him since all of this happened. And so like I just was thinking about because there was a protection order put in place.
And how long that's been?
This happened last year, like June of last year. So my arrest anniversary was like June 25th, so it just passed. But like still haven't spoken to him, and like I know that there was like I said, a narrative that was going around. So like while I was in there, I tried to I did make friends. Like people was in there, was cool. We was listening to music, stuff like that.
You had it. You had it. You just made bad decisions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like
don't mean a bad person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I remember like trying to sleep. Like it wasn't the noise that kept me from sleep. It was like my heart just like pounding from being in this environment where I was stripped of all dignity.
You close your eyes, that's all you can hear is your heart, man.
Yeah, and it's like
when you down there, am I tripping?
Yeah, I've never I've experienced anxiety before, you know, like that like elephant on your chest feeling, but for 3 straight days, like that's all I felt, and I would wake up and just be, you know what I'm saying? I would jolt myself awake because my heart's pounding so fast, like that anxiety of being not human anymore for your time being in there.
Not to go off your story at all.
Yeah.
But the worst thing is when you sleep in there and you think you out of there and you wake up and that's where you at.
Yeah.
That day,
it's real.
That day is I spent 45 days in the county before.
Yeah.
Bro, and when I tell you, like you said, somebody 1 year could be, bro, that was when I say that was one of the worst times of my life. I wanted to go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to take me to a prison.
Well, the county's just terrible.
45 days in the county was the worst.
Well, especially the old one.
Yep.
Downtown in the old.
The Justice Center.
They sent me upstairs. They didn't have mats.
Just built that.
They didn't have mats. We slept on straight metal. Toilet paper for pillows.
Yeah, it was gross.
I went to sleep one night and dreamed I was out of there and woke up and was there, bro. I thought they was gonna have to Seroquel me.
Man, they I was in there one time. They had us sleeping on with some what they call stacker bunks, and it was just like it was like a shell of a bed or something, and you just throw it on the ground. But they would be stacked up over in the corner when you walk in, because they didn't even have no mats. They call stacker bunks, man. For real, it's like, oh my goodness, man. Like,
I just want people to understand that if you ain't been down there, and a lot of people like, oh, he deserved to be locked up. Man, I don't believe nobody deserves to be treated like that.
Yeah, that's it's bad. It's bad.
And that breaks people. And you offer no real rehabilitation in there, and then you just send in these broken people back into the world and expect to go do better.
And then, like you
start
say,
over
for the mental aspect, it only makes a individual worse to the point where now, the state they push drugs, psychotic drugs on individuals who got mental disorders. You know what I'm saying? They give them what the horse tranquilizers and whatnot.
Ketamine.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like once they get on that, man, you creating a bigger issue within itself. So once they get out, you know what I mean, God forbid, you know, they get out. So once they get out, then they got this addiction,
New addiction,
and then which a lot of them end up downtown, man, at the Mission, and they running around the streets, man. And you know, I pulled up this past weekend. I pulled up over my friend's house. She stay in an apartment downtown, and it was a guy. He was just walking like he was out of it, man. It's like this.
And it'd be heartbreaking
Yeah,
to see that stuff.
sad.
Like, I live over on Shelby Street, so I've had the Narcan a couple of my neighbors, and it's just like there's these businesses that are popping up, and like a lot of them are like really, they want to see like some change, and they're bringing their like people from Westfield is over on Shelby Street now because there's an amazing cafe over there. Josh should go to it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, plug.
Yeah. But like that's a thing. Like, you have this population and there's a soup kitchen across the street from this bakery. And there's a population of unhoused people that are over there. Some of them are on drugs. Some of them have mental health issues. And then you have this bakery with people from Carmel every Saturday who are coming and standing in a line. And now you want to address the issue of homelessness in the area.
Yeah,
because now it's in your face.
Exactly.
It's money involved.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's like, I wanna talk to those businesses and be like, okay, y'all don't want these people outside of, you know what I'm saying?
Support these programs.
Well, we gonna put y'all are in this community. These people live here.
Come on.
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
Been there.
They've been here.
And y'all got a bag.
Yeah.
So throw some money at some of these programs, man, to help these people, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
But they're not trying to do that though.
Sounds so good to us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, the thing would be is to make a bill and just lock them all up. I'm just saying, just you know how they making the bill.
Yeah, but
now.
I'm saying I heard people say, and me and Josh might have had a conversation about it,
locking the
that
homeless.
people said, even pastors, and God knows I don't know who this pastor was, but he was like, well, my guy said that, you want them in, that at least they have somewhere to go. It's 3 hots in the cot. People mind really believe that these people are better off in jail. Somebody really, and that's why I said unless you've been there, you are not qualified to make that assumption.
They really looking at it based on capitalism. You know what I'm saying? What fits the norm now. And then a lot of them bids they throwing them people in. They don't do nothing but turn them into slaves anyway. Well, we here. You this is what we call a work camp, a work institution where you got to get a job. So we force you into slave labor. Well, we giving you 25 cents. We giving you 25 cents.
That's what the amendment is. Basically, that's the only time when you legally can be back a slave.
Yeah.
When you can be paid slave wages. When you may have to work for that 3 hots in a cot. And that's the scary thing about the justice system. And calling it the justice system is an oxymoron to me. I'm just saying what it is. What y'all call it, but it's no justice in that system.
not at all.
So after going through all that and, working, with reproductive right, and seeing what happens to your sibling and then you're back out here and you're looking at this system. What do you do from there?
Yeah. I had met Josh. Well, kind of met. I was in the same room as Josh back in February, January, down at the State House. I was organizing with another organization, and I had been looking for work for a while. I think I was out of job for 6 months, and so I kept on doing my volunteer stuff. I kept organizing. I did voter engagements and I did canvassing and stuff like that, unpaid, but still committed to the work of
Getting your 10,000 hours in.
Yeah.
Got them herbs in you,
Yes,
for real.
and I mean, I wanted to do it, but I'm like, this will also look good when the judge decides, like, what, you know what I'm saying? So this position had came up. One of my friends sent it to, well, my friend, she's like one of my mentors, really. I call her my organizing mom. Her name is Mel. I love you, Mel. If you're listening, I'm gonna send this to her.
Well,
yeah,
she gotta
shout out
watch.
Mel.
She gotta watch.
Mel sent this position to me and was like, you should really apply to it. And I looked over it, and at first, like, y'all, I was like, I was only in jail for 3 days.
Right.
Who am I to come and talk to these people who have maybe have been incarcerated for like 20 years? You know what I'm saying? I'm also like young. I'm like, I'm not qualified to do this work, but I had to sit with myself and think like my experience is just as valid. Like I
Absolutely.
experienced incarceration. Like I did. And because I'm a relatively well connected person as far as it goes, like around the city and like things that I've been involved in. Why would I not do this for this new movement? This movement that is trying to like bring itself into like the public eye.
Absolutely.
Like why would I not use my gifts and talents and connections to make this what it should be, and have it be for us and by us, like truly for justice impacted people by us, the way that it should be happening. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So like I applied, and I went through a very long and very unique hiring process. Like I've never been through a interview where I had to like do like 6 other interviews as a part of it. It was very intense, but it prepared me for like the grind that it's gonna take to like do this work, like around like changing policy and stuff, and like changing the city of Indianapolis.
It's
and
definitely
beyond.
gonna be a grind.
Yeah, it is. It already is. I've been working for it since May, and I love it, but I be exhausted.
Absolutely.
But it's very rewarding to get to like be in community with the people that like you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's
absolutely.
very rewarding, and I'm glad. That's how I got here. I'm grateful to be here. I told Michael the other day, y'all really gave me this job. Like, you know what I mean? Like y'all started Validus, y'all laid the groundwork for them to be able to hire somebody.
Right.
And so like, much gratitude to everybody, to y'all. Like, yeah.
Well, certain jobs call us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It really do be a calling. And with Validus, like you said, it's definitely gonna be some work. But at the same time, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So you got that patience and you got that wherewithal to really know what it takes to put that effort in. So yeah, kudos to you though.
Right.
For real, you
If
know
it
what
was
I mean?
processing or 3 days, you been through enough yourself to understand what the broader picture is. If you take that as a snapshot of what the entire system is, then you see it clearly. And not just affecting policy, but trying to end mass incarceration is a very big, something terribly big. And like he said, everything, stuff is a calling. I think Barz2Brickz and what Earl and Mike are doing since they've been home is a calling for them, and that's why I'm here to help them and facilitate these types of interviews. So we appreciate you coming. Now that you are in the position, what is your future look like for Validus in the direction in which you want to go in, and how can we work together to make those things happen?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want Validus to be the hub, or like the big name when you talk about like reentry, and reentry that really works for us, for people who are justice impacted. Like I want, when people say Validus, like I want people to be like, oh yeah, like I know about them, like I've done work with them, like they have helped me, not only maybe, find work somewhere, but also like they have put me in rooms that I never thought I would, be in. And that's really what I want it to be. And I want it to, like I said, be for us, by us. And like everybody who is a part of it right now, like shout out Devin, Bianca, Michael, like Kenzie, everybody, like we, like these are amazing people who have been doing this work on their own, but we want to come together and bring all of our expertise and like really make something that is going to be like changing things substantially for folks in Indianapolis and beyond.
Absolutely, I'm excited. This is my first time I met you. You're very energetic. You know what I'm saying, and you definitely seem like you know what you want. You know what I'm saying, out of the program. So it's been a pleasure. It's just it's like we were the same. You know what I mean? We wanted the same because we kind of doing this as a passion. Like, you know, a lot of things we do, we don't get paid for it, but it's just something that, you know, us giving back and just understanding that, man, you know, it's a whole community of kids, man, generations, man, that's they taking a bad turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really been about snatching them up, you know what I mean, and showing them that there's something else. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media, man, where they telling people that like to put the guns down and put the gloves up. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that a few times.
Yeah, we talked about
you know what I'm saying, for doing something like that for the city. You know what I mean? Because, man, at the end of the day, man, it's a lot of destruction going on. You know what I mean? When you pull that trigger and take one life, man, you just don't take one life. You shatter many. So, including yourself, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's not even worth it. It wasn't even worth it. You know what I mean? So, you know, we do our part and try to stay positive, you know, reaching the communities, man, and with Barz2Brickz. So, you know,
We
like I
excited
said,
to
I'm
come together with Validus.
Absolutely.
We happy that you came on and gave us your story in the background. Again, I hope this was comfortable for you.
Yeah,
I think this was great information for a lot of people out there. Get a social media for Validus and how they can reach out, how they can become a part. Because I want to definitely put that all in here.
Yes, so we're on Instagram. We just have Instagram right now. It is the Validus Movement. It is VALIDUS. It's Validus.
That'll be on the screen if I'm doing my job.
Yes, it'll be.
It should be up
It'll
there
be
now.
there. Yes, go follow us. We got so much stuff coming up. We're gonna be hitting the communities around Indy, doing some listening sessions, going on a little tour, to hear from people and get feedback on what we should be doing with this movement. So,
and like he said earlier, just you know, we would definitely like to be a part of whatever y'all got going on, and vice versa, how we can help. You know what I mean? So just let us know.
For sure.
If it's something, if it's dates and stuff, and y'all need to come and use this platform,
definitely come back.
I will be
use
back.
this platform to get the word out. And if y'all don't know, you know, this is a movement for justice impacted people, by justice impacted people, to change Indiana. We focusing on our state. We know that we got to start at the grassroots level. Y'all, if I did this right, you know, what we went to at the church will be coming out right before this interview, and then you'll be our first interview for season 2. Symone with the Validus Movement, man, thank you very much for coming through. We
Thank
appreciate
you for having
it.
me.
Earl, Nasty, good to see you as always.
Likewise,
Season 2, Barz2Brickz, Validus, Symone, we out.
Bruh! Hey, man, we here. We ain't have to kill nobody. We ain't robbing nobody. We ain't lying.